Thanks to our friends at Surfshark for sponsoring today's video. See our exclusive deal by visiting the link in the description below. Get yourself award-winning VPN protection now.
Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Yes, as you can see beside me, I have the new 2022 Ford Focus ST. And yes, you can see it's also had a very subjective facelift. Now, this is a walk around video today, so I'm going to pretty much show you guys around this car, what's changed. There's lots of other things that have changed, not just the front end, and giving you my first impressions of the car, because in fact I was actually meant to get one of these exact cars but in the auto version, so we could film some videos on our new channel, Those Two Car Guys. In fact, this car belongs to Aaron. Well, he wishes. In fact, this car is from Ford UK and he has his grubby little hands on it for a week. So I thought, while I'm down here, I'll get to rob the keys off him for a bit and do this walk around. So without further ado, let's get on today and have a look at the new Ford Focus ST. So let's get started and let's get the elephant out the room, shall we? The front end. Now you would have seen I did a walk around with the smaller little brother, the Fiesta ST, and of course I spoke quite a bit about this change and I wasn't too keen on it. And I have to say, I'm not too keen on this either. And if only I had someone in this very remote place to also share my opinion and hopefully get a different opinion. Oh wait.
Morning.
Where'd you come from?
My car.
Ah, well, if you don't know who this fine gentleman is, this is my best mate, Aaron from Carb Session.
Hello.
And of course, he is the lucky chap that gets to experience this car for a week.
That is correct.
But we're not here to talk about reviewing it. We're just here to have a walk around and share some of the changes of this car. Now, because you're here, let's talk about the front end. And you know my thoughts on it off and on camera. Yeah. But I don't really know your thoughts on it because you haven't really had these cars yet, especially the Fiesta ST like I did a week ago.
I like the new front end on the Focus. Yes. I think it suits the Focus far better than it does the Fiesta. It's difficult to judge a car until you see it in the metal. Yeah. I've seen a few new Fiestas in the metal, as well as an ST, and it looks out of proportion. Whereas on the Focus, I like it. I think it looks sleek, sharp, and it makes the pre-facelift look frumpy and a bit bulbous. I like it. I think it looks sharp.
Yeah, I probably do share your sentiments a little bit more. I do find it suits the car, well, this car indeed, a lot better than it did on the Fiesta, mainly because obviously the Focus is a lot bigger. Yes. But yeah, I don't know, just I think because it's such a change, it's gonna grow on me like it has with the Fiesta.
I like it. I think overall the car's better proportioned, and it's a cleaner, smoother look. I was never really a massive fan of the pre-facelift, either in standard form or ST form. But I think for the facelift, I think it looks a lot better.
Yeah, and going back to the Fiesta a little bit, if you haven't seen that video, you can click in the top right-hand corner to go and watch it. But I think the colour does make a difference as well. So again, in the Fiesta ST, I had this marvellous mean green paintwork, which is an optional extra. Yep. But how much is it?
I'd have to check the spec sheet, but I think it's around...
Is it around £700?
I think it's about 800.
Well, spec sheet
of the car.
Let's talk a little bit more about some of the other changes on the exterior. And that's it. Yeah, that's it, guys. I don't know about the wheels. On the Fiesta, the wheels were a different colour as per the pre-facelift, and I think they were a different style. But on this, they do look very similar, or if not the same as the pre-facelift.
825
Wow.
pounds.
So that's a lot more than you are getting on the Fiesta ST, but you'd argue that there is a lot more metal to cover. But yeah, that is an obscene amount of money for an optional paint, especially on a Ford. That's no diss, that's just an observation more than anything. Yeah, apart from the front end, I think this generation Focus is a great looking car. Yeah, it's very nice, and I do like it in this mean green. I actually prefer it in this colour more than I did in the Fiesta ST. I think a darker colour would have suited it a little bit more, and especially with the front end. I've seen some facelift black Fiesta STs, and I think that it hides the grille more. it hides the front end and it just makes it look a lot nicer. Of course you get, I was mistaken, you do get a change with the lights. Now, like the Fiesta ST, you get a lot more of a funky design, and they've got built-in DRLs. They've got built-in LED lights as well. So I'm not too sure about the lights, what's gone on with them, but they're a big change over the pre-facelift, like the Fiesta.
Yeah, they're very bright, and they're...
Yeah, that was one thing when I had the Fiesta ST for a week, because obviously we're getting earlier days, driving at night, it was a godsend, especially with the auto beam. It just does it seamlessly for you.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. But yeah, what do you think generally of the car, like in just the exterior? Forget the front end, we've spoken about that.
I think it looks fantastic. Like, as I've said, I think it looks better proportioned than the pre-facelift. You've got the nice anthracite alloys which complement the green paintwork, and interestingly, they are shod in Pirelli P0 tyres.
Yes, which we said off camera.
Not Michelin Pilot Sport 4s, which is normally...
Which I had on the Fiesta.
Yeah, that's normally Ford's go-to tyre. So for the new Focus ST to be wearing Pirelli P0s is a little bit surprising.
Yeah. For reference, guys, these are 19-inch, and we'll speak about ride inside the car. But yeah, they're a big tyre, a very big tyre.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it of the exterior really. The back end is unchanged.
Yeah.
Of course, you get the 2 exhaust pipes at the back, and that is pretty much it. There's nothing different to the pre-facelift, so I won't bore you too much. But there is a lot more changes inside, more so than the Fiesta ST. I was very underwhelmed by the changes inside, but I think we should go and step inside.
Yes, let's do that. I'll go passenger side. I'd ride shotgun.
Oh. Tell you what, it's getting more chilly these days, isn't it?
It certainly is.
All right.
Let's park my bottom.
So let's get the car started, because the steering wheel is in a
skew-whiff
way. There we go. Oh, no, that way. Okay. So the first change we'll talk about is the seats, which Aaron is rather exquisitely demonstrating their comfortness.
I've got mixed feelings, because to look at, I think they're pretty hideous. This integrated headrest, I've said it a few times on my own videos, it reminds me of Jabba the Hutt's head. It's just kind of, it's like it's melted. It looks awful. Sorry, Ford, but I have to be honest. But there is a silver lining, because as much as they don't look overly fantastic, credit where credit's due, to actually sit in them, they are brilliant. They are fantastic seats. They hold you in the right places. They're comfortable, and after you've sat in them for a few moments, I'm not thinking, oh, I missed the Recaros, because like I say, credit where credit's due. These are brilliant. They are fan-blooming-tastic.
Yeah, and it's good that you say that, because you've answered a question that I got quite a lot of comments on my video about the seats. And of course, when I had the Fiesta ST, when I did the walk around, I didn't get to drive it, so I didn't really get to answer that question. I have in a future video that will be coming in a review. But yeah, I did Weatherby, a long distance journey in the Fiesta. And of course, these are the same seats that you do get in the Fiesta, bar the change of that they're electronically adjustable in this car, but not in the Fiesta. But yeah, as a change, they are a big change, because yeah, for some reason, considering that this could be the last Focus generation as a engine powered car, it's very weird that they've done such a big change, considering that you don't really get many changes in the interior on Ford products alone.
Yeah,
they've gone for their own in-house design, which they make themselves.
I wonder if it's because
it's obviously a cost saving.
I would have thought so.
Yeah,
I would have thought so. But yeah, like I say, the Recaros look better, but like I say, these are really good to sit in.
I imagine you haven't sat in the back of the car yet, have you?
It's a bit difficult to drive the car from the back.
No, in terms of just seeing what it's like in the back, because the seats, because they're now a one-piece design, they do protrude a lot into the cabin in the back, so it gives you that claustrophobic side of things.
I haven't sat in the back, if I'm honest, and of course you've got the dark headlining. That's always going to make the back feel a bit dingy, as well as the tin.
I imagine it will be a lot better in the back, sitting in the back, than it is in the Fiesta ST, because you do inherently get a lot more space.
Yeah, more space.
And I did get the pano roof, which is strange because it's not in here. And on the Fiesta, it's actually now standard on the car, which is interesting.
What, the panoramic roof?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't spec it on the configurator for some reason.
That is interesting.
Yeah, and it wasn't on the spec sheet that Ford gave me. So yeah, I don't know why it's not in this car. Can you get one in this car?
I would have thought so, but I reckon it's just probably cost saving and maybe just trying to keep the weight down.
Yeah, we'll talk about the price of it because that is probably the biggest change of them all, but we'll concentrate more on the interior since we're in here. So we are getting a bit steamed up, but
we are. People are going to think we're doing something. Yes, anyway, moving on.
So yeah, the next biggest change, which I love, by the way, is the new 10.5-inch display. Is it 10
I think it's 10.25 inches.
Can your long gangly arms reach that far? It's right at the back in the passenger seat. I'm not even going to attempt to get it.
Is it on the passenger seat?
It's basically there. Above my coat. There you go.
Let's have a look. So, oh wow, no, it's actually 13.2 inches.
13.
Big boy.
And in comparison to the pre-facelift, I'd say that the previous screen was probably about 6-7 inches, maybe.
I think the previous car was about 8 inches.
Yeah, so it's a big difference.
There's a big difference, and it's definitely a kind of vocal point in the interior.
Yeah,
it's quite a dominating feature.
Definitely.
Not in a bad way. So
yeah,
I think it's fantastic.
It fills up the centre console. It's seamless with the vents, so it sits in place very nicely.
It's a nice clean look.
Yeah, it's not messy. It's very concise, very clear.
Yeah.
The screen's very bright. I don't know if the camera can show that well, but
it's
you get all your normal things like your map.
I'm yet to play about with it more thoroughly, but I would say in the experience where I have used it, I would say Ford has struck a good balance between making it look presentable and pretty, but still having good usability, because the Seats, they have a wonderful looking touchscreen, but they're quite clumsy to use.
Yeah.
Whereas I would say this is more intuitive, more user friendly, and there was nothing really wrong with the Ford Sync 3 system. It's just you could tell it was in need of updating, and I think the Sync 4 update is a very good one. Unfortunately, you have got all of the climate control things down there, but to be honest, I haven't found it that much of a faff when using it on the move, because you can kind of use this part of the dash as a kind of ledge to rest your hand. I would prefer to have
physical buttons like you did on the pre-facelift here.
It's not too bad in here. The only thing I will say about the touchscreen, like a lot of car manufacturers, it looks like they've just got a tablet, just super glued it on the dash. But that issue isn't exclusive to Ford. There are other manufacturers that do that, but there are also other manufacturers that make it a bit more seamless into the dash, as if it's integrated and not just a kind of afterthought design. But the touchscreen.
But I think the people that have pre-facelift cars will be pleased to know that they can now get a big screen if they were to obviously go for a facelift, which they probably won't, again, because of the price of this thing. But very impressed with the screen. Of course, this has now got Sync 4, Ford's new infotainment system, and it's a breath of fresh air. I think Sync 3 has been around since the dawn of time, and every time I've got in...
Rumour has it's if you look hard enough in the Bible, you can find Sync 3 in there. There's a mention of it somewhere. I think it's mentioned around the same time as Noah's Ark or something. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, but no. Obviously, I've only driven the car for around half an hour by the time getting to his location, and just getting to play around with this. And there's so much stuff on this car that you could get engrossed with. But we'll move on to the drive modes, which is probably the most important thing of a car of this stature, being a performance car, is the drive modes. Now, I'm disappointed, and you're probably going to know why I'm disappointed.
Because there's no individual mode.
Yes, so this car has the performance pack, which is optional. Or is that because that spec sheet's wrong and it's now part of the car as standard, like the Fiesta ST?
According to the spec sheet I've been supplied by Ford UK, it says it's an £800 option.
Okay, so it's very interesting, considering on the Baby Brother ST you get it, Fiesta ST, you get it as standard. But yeah, that includes, of course, launch control. In the manual version you get auto blip, which is a nice feature if you don't really like heel and toe and you can't do it. The car will help you out in that department. That's my phone.
I think those two features you've mentioned may be standard, because on the spec sheet where it says Ford Performance Pack, it just says additional track mode, which is at the bottom, and the adjustable dampers. That's the only thing it's stating is part of that track mode. Performance pack. So you may find that the rev matching comes as standard. I believe it does, but you may need to correct myself with a subtitle or a caption.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, of course, in true fashion, you get some modes. So of course, the car defaults to normal, which we're in now. You get slippery, which
is pointless, I think.
Yeah, it will even tell you.
Especially in these with these Pirelli P0 tyres.
Yeah, they're more track-focused tyres, aren't they, as opposed to an all-round tyre.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then you get Sport, which sharpens everything up, and of course changes the digital dash. So each mode changes colour depending on what you select.
Have you put it into racetrack mode yet?
I did for a brief moment.
Have you seen what comes up when you put it into racetrack mode? Look at Laguna Seca.
Oh, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because given the fact this is a European car,
yeah,
I would have expected to see the Nürburgring.
Yeah, that's a very good observation, actually. Yeah. So yeah, Sport obviously sharpens everything up, keeps the ESC on, and then when you put it into racetrack, you obviously the ESC turns off, which you can see there, and then you get different dials again. You actually get a shift light that comes across there, as opposed to in sport mode, which is a nice cool feature. Obviously you can change it in the screen, but like all Performance Full products now, you get it so you can shortcut to sport on your steering wheel and toggle through the modes if you didn't want sport through this button using mode here. As I mentioned earlier, you do get launch control, which I don't know in this car what it sets it to, but in the Fiesta ST it set it to 3,000 RPM. Basically, the idea is that you can test how fast you can go from a standing still, and I will be doing that in a separate video. I'll be showing you what I can do in this car, because at some point I will be getting the auto version, so I'll be doing a back-to-back to see if the auto is faster than the manual, which on paper it probably is.
You'd like to think it would be, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So yeah, launch control, if you don't know, basically you lead foot on the accelerator pedal, side swipe the clutch pedal, and off you go. And basically it'll probably burn up your front tyres and probably do a drive shaft if you keep doing it. But yeah, a bit of a gimmick, because really, when are you launching front-wheel drive cars? Never. It's not very forgiving, is it?
All the time, every day on my commute, traffic lights, boom!
Yeah, quick way to get to work.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've forgotten anything in the interior as opposed to changing stuff. I mean, you get the usual stuff. You get wireless charging here. It's quite funny because every time I put my phone in here to wireless charge, I always forget it when I leave because it's such a dark, dingy place, and my phone being black. You get halfway down the road and you're like, where's my phone? And you run back and then the phone's there, and you've got to sort of claw to get it out because it's not exactly very easy to get out. But yeah, you get wireless car charging, lots of storage space actually. I'm quite impressed. Biggish glove box.
Yeah, glove box is a fair size.
The door bins are not impressive. I mean, you can get a bottle of water in there, I suppose, but
I think you'd struggle to get a 1 litre bottle in there, not unless it's kind of slim, or you kind of coax it a little bit.
Yeah, you get obviously a biggish armrest here with lots of storage down there.
And you do have a bit of adjustment to the armrest as well. You can't lift it up or down, but you can slide it backwards and forwards, which is
snazzy,
handy.
Very snazzy.
Yeah.
And of course, yes, as I mentioned, this is the 6-speed manual version. And interestingly, Ford have got a 7-speed DCT. I think it's 7-speed DCT. It's not a 10-speed. We love a 10-speed, didn't we, mate?
I don't know why Ford bother with a 10-speed. It's just why. Who out there thinks I need 10 speeds in my gearbox, please?
I'm intrigued the fact that it's a different gearbox. It's a DCT gearbox, and I am intrigued to see what it's actually going to be like to drive it.
Yeah.
And if it spoils the experience of the car, because the manual gearbox in this, yes, it is a little bit what's the best way to say it? It's a great gearbox, but
it's not as sharp as an FK8 Civic Type R.
Yeah.
But it's still very, very good. The changes are brilliant. You can still work your way through the gearbox quickly in a slick manner. Is it the best gear changing you can get in a hot hatch? No, but it's certainly up there for sure.
Yeah, it's not the worst.
No,
it's not
far from the worst. It's a brilliant change.
Yeah. Also, you get quite a lot of safety features in this as well. Where is it in here? Features, there we go. Driver assist. So you do get a lot of stuff to play with in here. So you obviously got a choice of changing your cruise control. So at the moment it's in adaptive, so you can basically allow the car to keep distance at whatever speed you want. Intelligent, I literally do not know what that means. Does that pick up the speed limit and then do it for you in that sense?
That would be my guess, yes.
Yeah, and then you've got your good old-fashioned normal, which, to be fair, I prefer, and it's beeping at me for some reason. And normal is just basically, you do it yourself.
Just boggo.
Yeah. Speed limiter, we're not interested in that. Lane keeping, we're not interested in that, but basically that allows you to tell the car tells you if you're swerving out of your lane, basically, to wake you up a bit.
I think it's a bit of a sad state of affairs when you have to have a wrong way alert on a car. So if you just bring the camera back.
Oh right,
here,
I literally have just seen that.
But yeah, wrong way alert.
Yeah.
In my opinion, if you need your car to tell you you're going the wrong way, you need to surrender your license there and then.
Exactly.
That feature should not be on any car because it should not be required because you shouldn't need it. But that's my mini rant over. I just think why? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
And then of course you get all your parking assist as well. Again, as Aaron said, I think this is the problem with new cars these days, is that yes, some of the safety features on here are beneficial to...
They do a bit too much for you.
Yeah, and it takes away some of the stuff.
I don't want to go off on a tangent, but I think because modern cars help drivers out so much, I think it's made a lot of drivers...
lazy,
and the awareness has gone. But anyway, that's a completely different topic for a different time and a different video. But yeah, I think cars have got a bit too much safety tech on them. Personal opinion.
Yeah, and of course, yeah, the Sync 4 is a lovely system, but you also get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's wireless as well. It must be because most new cars now you can wirelessly connect your phone.
If it's not wireless for Android Auto, it's probably wireless for Apple CarPlay. So in my experience, if a system is going to offer a wireless-based connection, they tend to lean more towards Apple CarPlay than Android Auto. Yeah,
cool. Right, let's get into the back. Let's get a little bit spicy in the back as well.
I thought you never asked.
And let's get Aaron's thoughts on what he thinks. Well, you know what he thinks of the seat, but let's see what he thinks of the seat after he's experienced the rear area of the car. Oh, what's your what do you think of getting out of the seats? But I think the side bolsters,
a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah, it does make it a little bit more of a struggle.
But maybe I'm getting old. I don't know.
All right. Side note, I treated myself to some new white shoes. All I need is some white tea from Turkey now. So yeah, this is the rear, and yeah, for me, I'm fine. I've got loads of leg room.
Well,
of course.
when you're 4'5", of course you're going to be fine, mate.
The seats aren't as intimidating as they were in a Fiesta ST. Of course, this is set to my driving position. If it was Aaron, probably the seat would be about here. But yeah, of course, the seat is contoured around the knee area. So if you were to have a longer abnormal person in the front, you'd obviously have a little bit more of knee room.
No, you mean blessed with height. Blessed with height.
Whereas, as you can see with Aaron, his knees are pretty much in the passenger front seat.
Yeah, but to be fair, this seat is quite far back.
Yeah.
So it's not quite as dingy as I thought it would be back here. The windows aren't the largest, and they do have a tint to them.
Yeah. It really doesn't help with the headlining, does it?
I think it helps that these lights are on, so I'd quite like to turn them off, but
I think it's because one of the doors may be open, or I've turned the light on in the front passenger.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's it because none of the doors are open.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does help. Of course, you're going to struggle to fit 3 adults in the back.
I don't even know why car manufacturers still put 3 seats in there, because even if you were a small kid.
Well, if for children, it'd be fine. Oh, look, you've got a feed
Ski
screen
hatch. Oh, so
that is good.
if you're a sad human being, you can go skiing. There you go.
Or if you want to get some wood from B&Q or something.
Yeah.
Bob's your uncle.
But yeah, obviously this car is going to be a lot more practical, and
Then the Fiesta ST.
yeah,
of course, yeah.
And I am starting to dislike the Fiesta ST for that fact, because you might as well just have this car, because it just offers so much. It's a more all-round car.
And of course, the Fiesta ST is 5-door only now, which is, I was going to say, somewhat controversial. It's not. It's controversial in the fact that the Fiesta ST was the last hot hatch to be flying the flag for 3 doors, and Ford have finally surrendered and followed the crowd, and that's 5-door only, which I do find a bit disappointing. I think Ford should still offer the option of a 3-door, but maybe there weren't enough people buying it, or it costs too much to manufacture, because of course you have to. It's a different body shell.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. But
Going up.
what do you think of the seat in terms of you as a rear passenger? They are, because you don't have the like usual separation of the seat and the headrest. That you can't really see as much.
I would say
out front.
For me, it'd be fine, but I think for someone who suffers with car sickness, it might not be as good. Although, to be fair, this is probably one of the last cars you want to put someone in that suffers with car sickness. Right, we're gonna do a launch. But yeah, for me, it's no problem. You can still see out of the car just fine if you really wanted to. So that wouldn't even cross my mind, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Last but not least, let's get out of the car for this, because I think we'll need to, because either one of us will faint or someone watching will faint. Is the price.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, to be fair, it's a lot harder to get out the back because it's so narrow.
Yeah, the doors could do.
It's so narrow here.
The doors could do with opening a little bit wider.
Yeah.
And much like the pre-facelift, the way how the doors are designed, they kind of stick out a bit. You kind of got this bit. And there's been times where you kind of forget it's there. You just end up, when you're walking around the car, you find yourself catching it.
Speaking of the doors, you also get the door protectors. Well, Aaron can demonstrate.
Whoa.
There you go.
Whoa, hey.
Turn off aeroplane mode, mate. You're not on a plane. Yeah, and I like that feature. I had that on my Mk4.5 Focus RS. Is that an optional extra on this? Door protectors? It isn't.
Yeah, it is. No, it is.
Oh, it is.
Door edge protectors is part of the parking pack, weirdly enough. Well, I suppose it does come into parking, because if you're in a multi-story and you go whack into someone else's car, then...
Yeah, it's definitely a great feature.
Yeah.
Although, I didn't actually really use it because I'm a considerate person and I don't use other people's property to prop my door open when I need to open it.
It's a good feature, but a feature that I would argue you shouldn't really need. But,
yeah.
So
yeah, you've got the spec sheet in your hand, and let's talk about price.
This spec sheet is actually wrong.
Yeah.
I think this is outdated.
But this is good, because when was that spec sheet? There should usually be a date on the spec sheet when it was published. But it's going to be very funny because, yeah, as Aaron said, this price is wrong, but the new price is going to make you laugh and probably cry.
The weird thing is, it says prices shown are effective from 1st of April this year, 2022.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact this price is wrong. So according to this, with options, this car should be £37,735. Base price is £34,960, so a little under £35,000. But I was sent an updated spec sheet from Ford UK, and this car is actually almost £39,000, and I'm sorry, that is a lot of money. The base price from memory was, I think, approaching £36,000.
Wow. And with this, there's certain things on this car that you do need to have as an option, more specifically performance pack, or could you argue that you could probably get away with having the performance pack?
I would say expect the performance pack because you get the adjustable dampers.
Ah, yes, that's what we missed. Yes, that's what we missed. So this car actually has adjustable dampers, and annoyingly, what we spoke about in the interior in terms of the drive modes is that, of course, you can't create your own custom mode, and that is a shame, really, because although this car does have adjustable dampers, the time that I've been in it, when I've been driving it in sport or racetrack, the ride is goddamn awful.
It's not as bad as the i30N, to be fair, though.
It isn't, but the thing with the i30N is you can change it to normal dampers, and then
that has a custom mode, whereas this doesn't.
Yeah, and that is a real big shame for this car, because in normal mode it's fine, it rides really nicely, but as soon as you put it into sport mode, yeah, the ride does get a little bit jiggly.
And on the topic of the i30N,
yeah, back to the price.
From memory, one of those is, give or take, you know, around £34,500. And the great thing about the i30N is that you don't need spec options apart from the paint.
Yeah.
It comes as it comes.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about ticking that box or ticking this box, because it all comes as standard. Better still, with the i30N, you get a 5-year warranty, which extends to track usage.
Yeah.
And I love a fast forward, but I need to wear my sensible trousers.
Yeah.
And really and truly...
No, you're wearing jeans, mate.
My sensible jeans. Really and truly, if it were my money, I would honestly find it quite difficult to just justify buying this car.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind this one's almost £39,000, but I can go out and get an i30N for, roughly speaking, about £34,500. I may be a little bit wrong on the price, but thereabouts. I don't have to worry about any options apart from the paint. I get a 5-year warranty that I can use on track.
Yeah.
And it makes this car difficult to really to sell. It's a difficult one to swallow. It's a great car, don't get me wrong, but you look at the price and you kind of think, well, why would I buy this?
Yeah, yeah.
I think you'd have to be a fast Ford fanatic, someone like Gary, car focused, to buy this car. Like I said, I love fast Fords.
I don't think he'd buy it either, just for the sake of the money.
I love fast Fords, but like I say, if it were my money and I wanted a hot hatch in this segment, I think I'd have to walk away from the Ford dealership and find my nearest Hyundai dealership. Yeah. But that's merely my personal opinion.
And both of us have actually helped on that scenario, because if you click in the top right hand corner, if it's that one or it's there, we done a video on comparing the i30N, the new one, with the DCT gearbox.
Yep.
And this very car, well, not this car, a pre-facelift ST edition, which is practically this car, just bar the differences with the screen, the front end, and some other small bits. So yeah, and he came to the conclusion of, you can find out in the video, click in the top right hand corner.
No spoilers.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's it. We'll conclude this walk around.
Did you want to show the lovely ladies and gentlemen the boot?
Yeah, why not? I don't know the boot size. I'm sure you do, because you're a boot connoisseur, or you're just more. How can I say? You're more.
Not offhand, but the boot, to my knowledge, is unchanged from the pre-facelift. So whatever capacity you got in that, you'll get in this. Yeah. You have to drop a caption below because it's still quite early. And my coffee hasn't kicked in yet, so I can't think of the capacity off my head.
Yeah.
I want to say it's about. I want to say it's around 400 litres, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. But again, because this is obviously a bigger car, the boot is a lot bigger than the Fiesta ST as well. So as I said, this makes it such a better all-round car, even better than the Puma ST. This just smokes the Puma ST. You get a bigger engine. We haven't even spoke about the engine, but
my mind is telling me this is 390 or 395 litres, but I could be wrong. Yeah, the engine.
We haven't spoke about the engine.
Obviously, quite a large.
Yeah, quickly. Is it on the passenger side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the power is unchanged, quite surprisingly.
Does it just go up? Oh, there we go. Oh no, that's heavy. Wow. Didn't expect that.
That's not being warm though.
Yeah, it is.
Gather round, get your marshmallows out. Oh, that's
so
nice.
While we've got it ticking over. Yeah, so performance hasn't changed. Has torque changed?
Not to my knowledge.
Oh,
so
okay.
280 horsepower, 420 Newton meters of torque with overboost. 0 to 62 in 5.7 seconds, and the top speed is 155, which I imagine is limited.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the 2.3 EcoBoost engine, which started life in the Mk4.5 Focus RS. Of course, they've made many changes to this, included the coolant issue that the RSs were plagued with back in the day. I was a victim of that. But yeah, I do love this engine. It's got bags and bags of performance from low end to high end. I really do like it. It does pull.
Yeah, it is a good engine, for sure.
Again, you'll find out in the twin test that I felt the i30N sort of trumped this engine, but that was more because it had lots of character. You do get a lot of pumped in sound, especially in sport mode and racetrack mode.
Yeah, sound symposer.
Yeah, which I'm not the biggest fan of. You do get a lot more cracks and pops out of the exhaust though, which is a nice feature. But yeah, Aaron will put the bonnet back down. And yeah, this time we're going to conclude the video. Oh, he's broken the car. Oh,
you have to drop it from quite a height for it to close. It's a little bit annoying. I don't want to push it because you could dent the bonnet. There we go.
But yeah, anyway guys, I hope you found this video helpful. Of course, big thanks to Aaron for not only allowing me to come down here and film this video, but of course being involved with it. I thought it would be a little bit of a change, of course, having Aaron here with me to film it and just give a little bit more of a depth to it, and having a fellow know-it-all with me. But yeah, if you've got any questions, please do feel free to put them down below in the comment section. Of course, like, subscribe, and head over to those two car guys. Make sure you go and watch some of our videos, of course, more specifically being the twin test where we had both the i30N and the Focus ST, which we had a real good fun day filming that. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, until the next time, I will see you guys soon. And yeah, I've got lots more content coming, including I will be doing a gone in 0 to 60 with this very car to see if I can beat the 0 to 62 time of
5.7 seconds.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I will. I did it in the Fiesta ST, so I'm pretty sure I'll be able to do it in this. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching guys. Goodbye. Just waving at you. Bye mate.
Bye.